This is the Planet Reigate podcast.
And I'm Peter Stewart. Welcome to episode 007 of the Planet Reigate podcast for October the 28th, 2023. Yeah, 007. Kind of reminds me, we've got Crack the Code a little bit later on for Surrey Spies. So listen out for that. Also this week, we're going to be hearing from Marie and Sarah from the Rewind Wind Band. Now, you try saying the Rewind Wind Band lots of times after a couple of pints of Pilgrim, you know.
They range from flutes, clarinets, saxophones. We've got brass because we're a concert wind band, and percussion, which we're always in need of, drummers. Anybody that plays a wind instrument is able to come along. Even if you can play 4 notes or you can play all of them, they all make that layer of music.
And you can find out a little bit later on how you can join Marie and Sarah with the Rewind Wind Band a little bit later on in today's episode. Plus, Mark speaking to me in his top floor office flat overlooking Priory Park with an international talent managing agency called Blinding Talent.
Who would have known that we'd have in little world Reigate, that we'd have an international music marketing agency? But I used to drive through Reigate to go to Dorking. What a lovely little town this is. I never really thought any more than that. I had a look around and thought this is a lovely area.
So hear more from Mark, and also we've got our treasure, Hidden Treasure, from the Children's Trust Shop, Bell Street in Reigate. We've got Planet Reigate Stars, Crack the Code, as I mentioned. We've got our 60-second soundscape to end the episode. We've got our news, and we're going to start with our good time guide first on the Planet Reigate podcast.
The Good Time Guide. Things to do and places to go on the Planet Reigate podcast.
Yeah, here's what's happening over the next 7 days in the Planet Reigate area of Reigate, Redhill and Merstham, Buckland, Betchworth and Brockham. And you never know, sometimes we slip in the odd Bletchingley as well. First of all, let's tell you about Reigate's new cocktail bar, which is opening up today, Saturday, at 85 Bell Street. Yeah, and also they've got a Halloween launch party today as well. Raj says, we can't wait to see you there. Oh, and also, incidentally, they're still looking for fun and friendly people to join the team. Glass collectors, bartenders, mixologists, hosts and hostesses. So that's Clooney's, Reigate's new cocktail bar at 85 Bell Street. Also join us for a fantastic concert at Reigate Park Church in support of our wonderful local charity. Tickets available in advance are on the door. Doors and bar open at 6 o'clock and the concert is at 7 o'clock. What am I talking about? It's the Sparkling Charity Concert, which is being held at Reigate Park Church, Park Lane East. And it's happening tonight at 7 o'clock. It's the Imperial Male Voice Choir and the band of the Surrey Yeomanry. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? A feast of music from London's internationally acclaimed Imperial Male Voice Choir and the Redhill-based band of the Surrey Yeomanry. Reigate Heath Golf Club is supporting the concert, with all profits going to the Lady Captains 2023 chosen charity of PSDS. Oh, and I should also tell you that if you're expecting to go to the local repair cafe today, that is cancelled because of illness. OK, that's a few events happening across the Planet Reigate area today, Saturday. What about tomorrow, Sunday, the 29th? Rachel Wood tells us that lots is happening over the next couple of months in Camp Eco Earlswood. Specifically tomorrow, a Halloweenish Earlswood Farmers Market and Earlswood Car Boot Fair as between 10 and 2 at the Marquis of Granby, just there in Redhill. Monday the 30th, join KicksDance Reigate and Redhill after the half term. They say they've got spaces in their weekday morning classes for toddlers and preschoolers, and also some availability on a Saturday morning as well for ages 3 to 11. So kicksdance.co.uk if you're interested in booking your space for the autumn term 2. As I say, classes start back on Monday, and they've got some sparkly adventures all set up, zooming like fireworks, floating like snowflakes before they break up for Christmas. So let's just run through those again. Mondays, there are sessions for 18 months to 2 years, and also 3 to 4 years. And then Thursdays, it's 18 months to 2 years and 3 to 4. And Saturdays, another one for 3 to 4 years. So kicksdance.co.uk. Shack, the Surrey Hills Adventure Company, says that they've got a Halloween fancy dress night paddle and costumes are encouraged. That sounds great, doesn't it? If you want some more details on that, theshack.co.uk, theshac.co.uk, if you fancy getting dressed up and having the Halloween fancy dress night paddle on the spooking night of the 31st. Tuesday the 31st is also the first day of Saucy Jack and the Space Vixens. It's another show which is being put on by our friends down at the Archway Theatre in Hawley. The show is set in a seedy cabaret bar on planet Frottage III, presided over by the alluring and charismatic Saucy Jack himself. But all is not well. Danger lurks in every corner as the cabaret acts are being picked off by a serial killer. You won't want to miss it. Details via the Archway Theatre, and check out their details on the websites. Got some more information for you. Let's skip ahead to Friday, November the 3rd. And there's a fireworks show which is going on, and that is at Old Reigation Rugby Football Club, and that's happening from 6:30. Fireworks at 7:30. There's food, there's drinks, and there's music as well. No tickets on the gate, so if you want to get your tickets in advance, oldreigationrfc.com, and check out the link there. Musical Bees are a singing, signing and music making class for little ones and their grown-ups. Led by an experienced music teacher, high quality instruments, props to explore, live music on the ukulele. No recorded music, they let me know. So at 9:45, Walker Bees, 10:35, Baby Bees, Tell a Friend, and Bring a Friend as well. That's what they say, and that's Music Bees, and that's the £5 taster class, which is happening next Friday. And let's also do one for Saturday the 4th, just so you've got a full 7 days of information ahead of you. South Nutfield Bonfire Spectacular. Get ready for an explosive night of fun. Join us on the 4th of November, because it's a night you won't want to miss. Dazzling firework displays, bonfire, amazing raffle, perfect fun for all the family. Don't forget to swing by our licensed bar for a drink or warm up with some hot chocolate and savour our delicious barbecue as well. Gates open at 5 at the Jubilee Fields entrance only via the Scout Hut Lane, Mid-Street in South Nutfield. Ticket prices: adults £6 in advance or £8 on the night, children £4 or £6. No parking available. So check them out on Facebook if you're interested in that. That's the South Nutfield Bonfire Spectacular. And also next Saturday, I'm loving this. I know someone that could be interested in this actually. Let your imagination fuel your creativity. Join us for a free workshop exploring manga art with Molly Chapman-Hayes. We is the Redhill Library, who are putting that on Saturday the 4th of November. 3 sessions for different age groups, 11 till 12 for ages 11 plus, 2 to 3 for ages 11 plus, 4 to 5 for ages 18 plus. And you can pop into Redhill Library or email them at redhill.library@surreycc.gov.uk if you want some more details. Okay, we do this every week. We call it the Good Time Guide. A little bit later on today, we've got some more kind of newsworthy items. We don't go too heavy. We certainly don't talk about that political story, which is big in Reigate at the moment. No, we leave that kind of stuff to other people. But there are some interesting things that you may want to know about, which aren't particularly good time stuff, but there's a couple of announcements from the council and people like that that you really should be aware of, I think. So listen out for that a little bit later on. In today's show, the Planet Reigate podcast. Well, of course, Christmas is not that far away, is it really? Well, there's the Rewind Wind Band. And that's a little bit different. Why is it called Rewind? Well, the reason is that you can go back to playing a musical instrument in your older years that maybe you haven't picked up since you were at school or university. You can get back into it. Maybe you can even go along with your son and daughter who are picking up that same instrument, or maybe a different one, for the very first time. It's the whole concept that Marie and Sarah had come up with, and I spoke to them recently at the Rewind Wind Band HQ near the hospital for the Planet Reigate podcast.
They range from flutes, clarinets, saxophones. We've got brass because we're a concert wind band, and percussion, which we're always in need of, drummers. Anybody that plays a wind instrument is able to come along.
And including Sarah as well, who is with us too. And Sarah, what brought you along to the group?
I knew Marie as a friend outside of the group and realised what she was setting up and getting involved with, and thought that I'd be brave and come along. I had a clarinet that I'd played, at school previously, and a little bit at university, and then hadn't really had much of a reason to touch it, and probably hadn't played it for about 15 years. And Marie is very encouraging, very positive in her outlook and wanting people to get involved. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I've kind of not looked back. So come along for the first rehearsal and play the notes that you can. That's all okay. And then it's great because you gradually then find yourself relearning what you used to know and
it all comes back, does it?
Indeed. It kind of does, like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you get out of it?
Just reconnecting with my musical side and that part of my brain, enjoying playing the music. We generally play a lot of well-known tunes and familiar tunes and things that, like, for example, my kids would enjoy, and they've enjoyed concerts and that sort of thing. But also, it's a really positive, supportive environment with lots of really friendly people, and often it is the people that makes it. And I've found it very welcoming and very encouraging of each other. It's really like being on a team, I suppose, and everybody's got their different bit that they do. I'm a bit of a sports fan secretly on the side, and it's sort of that sort of thing where everybody's doing their own responsibility and their own role, but then instead of, having a manager or a captain, we have Marie at the front as our musical director and conducting us. And hopefully we're looking to her most of the time and keeping in time. It just all comes together. And that is the beauty of it, that, such a diverse group of people and range of instruments can come together to make some lovely music.
Marie, that's a great accolade, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have to agree, it is not just, the amount of music, it's how many notes you can play. So even if you can play 4 notes or you can play all of them, they all make that layer of music.
Now, I'm learning quite a bit here because I thought, well, band and orchestra would be names for different groups of musicians, but also you told me earlier on that a group of flautists is a choir.
Yes.
Yeah, and you organise a flute choir as well.
Yes, they can be called flute groups, but they're mainly known as choirs. And so you've got the little ones, the piccolos, and then you've got altos and basses and all the C flutes. And that makes up the choir.
So two different groups that you're running,
Yes.
that you're managing. Yeah, and they also appear at various places around this area, around the Planet Reigate area.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so they're based in Reigate, so that's quite nice. Adults and, well, actually some younger people as well, and it's people again returning to the instrument. There are more advanced players in that, but again, it's the same kind of principle, same idea.
So as well as the groups, you're also training people, you're also coaching and teaching them as well to play various instruments, because you can turn your hand to an awful lot of them, can't you?
Most of the woodwind family. I dabble in the cello, piano, so I teach mainly woodwind instruments and the piano and singing.
People can come to you if they want to join the Rewind Wind Band and also the Flutes Choir, and also for the teaching as well. But also they can come to you if they want one of those groups performing at one of their events. Tell me the kind of things that you get involved with.
Mainly like fetes and fairs. We do charity events, school Christmas fairs and things like that. Local community actually, and we're very local. We're based Hawley, Redhill, Reigate.
But you've got to have something to focus on, haven't you?
Yeah.
Something is coming up in 3 weeks' time. Let's polish this particular repertoire.
That's what we kind of tend to do. So we focus on like different areas. So for example, it's coming up to the festive season. So we're going to be focusing on more festive music rather than some of the other pieces that we may have done. And people enjoy coming along to the rehearsals because they know that we're going to be doing a performance. Yeah, it's just to be involved in the community and musically in the community, and people can kind of see what we do and maybe come and join us, you know.
So you've got 3 different hats on. You've got the Rewind Wind Band. That's difficult to say. Thanks for that. You've got the A to Z Flute Choir, and also you're teaching as well. Let's not give out 3 different email addresses. No. Let's just have one. If people are interested in getting in touch with you for any or all of the above, how do they do that?
mazmusic88@hotmail.com.
Crack the Code, our weekly game for Surrey spies.
Mark is on in a few moments' time from his top flat office overlooking Priory Park in Bell Street, promoting, managing artists across the pond. I mean, not across Priory Pond, obviously. Across the Atlantic is really what I'm trying to say. Also on the way, we've got Hidden Treasure, we've got those Planet Reigate Stars, and right now, Crack the Code. So, last week's code ended up to be this. Let's just punch it in and make sure.
1.
Yeah, just a straightforward 1. Did you crack the code? Were you correct with last week's code? Now, your mission for this week is to crack the numbers with this week's code. So, from me in the studio to me out there, where are you, Peter, this week? I'm on the top of Reigate Hill, and I've just crossed the footbridge from the Junction 8 Cafe, the car park there, towards Collie Hill. And almost as soon as you leave that footbridge, you come across a couple of big metal plates in the middle of the footpath. Have you ever noticed them? Well, one of them is for East Surrey Water Company and it says air valve, but there is another one closer to the footbridge just before that which says East Surrey Water and SV on it, on this small square metal plate. But what is that number between the word Surrey and the letters SV? It's not an 8, it's another digit. What is it? Come up with the answer to Crack the Code on the Planet Reigate podcast. And some more things in the Planet Reigate area that I thought you might be interested to know about this week. The members of the Merstham branch of the Royal British Legion are starting their collections at the Hub, Portland Drive in Merstham from today, and also at Merstham Station from Monday. And Jackie Carter says, "We would like to thank everyone in advance for your support for this year's Poppy Appeal." So thanks, Jackie, for letting us know about that. Coming soon, the Collective is opening its doors on Reigate High Street. So this is going to be opposite Starbucks, and in fact it's actually happening today. A curated collection of independent brands covering fashion, gifts, homewares and much more. A gorgeous shopping experience all under one roof, perfect for gifts or treating yourself. And they say come and see us for all your Christmas and shopping needs. So that's the Collective. There's a curated collective of independent brands, Reigate High Street, opposite Starbucks. Redhill St John Ambulance units are running free CPR and AED training sessions today. So that is one of their Restart a Heart sessions, and you can just turn up. So it's today, Saturday the 28th, between 10 and 2 at the St John unit on the Kingfield Business Park. So just by the end of Philanthropic Road, of course, just down that neck of the woods. And something we brought you in our very first episode. Do you remember? Have you heard back that the wedding pop-up, which has been sponsored by the Children's Trust and also been happening at the Belfry shopping centre, their collection of dozens and dozens of wedding dresses, prom dresses, mother of the bride dresses, male groom outfits and smart suits and all the rest of it, with the ties and the cummerbund, everything, yeah, that they've had there in the fantastic pop-up shop in the Belfry in Reigate. It's the final weekend this weekend, okay? So goes through till Sunday. You can still find some amazing wedding dresses, suits and more. Fantastic discounted prices. It's on the first floor of the Belfry shopping centre in Redhill. Now this coming Thursday at the Town Hall in Reigate, it's the Redhill Business Guild And that's because they usually meet at the Harlequin, but obviously they can't do that at the moment. And it starts at 5:30. There's going to be a bit of informal networking. And then the Borough Commander from the police, Alex Maguire, and the Central Team Sergeant Rob Staplehurst are going to be there. Councillor Jonathan Essex, I think he's from the Green Party, isn't he? Is going to be talking as well. Simon from Redhill Market. Paula Edwards from Christmas Destination Redhill. Andy Nash from the Belfry is going to be talking about Christmas there at the shopping centre. And also Dwayne Kirkland, who's head of leisure at the council, is going to be updating everybody on the Harlequin and Christmas plans as well. So you're welcome to go along Thursday 5:30 to 7:30 at the Town Hall in Reigate. Well, you know where that is. I don't need to give you the address for that. We would like to hear your views on the Merstham Community Hub to help us understand if and how you use it and to shape the services it provides in the future. We would be very grateful if you could help us by answering a few short and simple questions. So says Surrey County Council. So you can share your views about the Merstham Community Hub, and I'll put that detail, the link for that survey, in our show notes today. Now, can you spare any sleeping bags or 1 to 2 man waterproof tents in good condition? That's from our friends down at Renewed Hope. I saw them during the course of the week and recorded an interview for a forthcoming episode of the Planet Reigate podcast. We are out of tents for rough sleepers and low on sleeping bags as well, they say. All donations of items are appreciated. You can drop them off between 11 and 3 weekdays, and if you want some more details about where Renewed Hope are, then you can check them out and check out their website for more details. But they're just on that, they're just past the hatch going towards Redhill, just beyond Shaw's Corner there. So if that's your neck of the woods, or if you've got some sleeping bags or a small waterproof tent in good condition, they'd really appreciate it if you can take it down to them there. Stacey Spurdle says, my daughter's team are looking for players, year 9 or 10. So if your daughter's been inspired by the Women's World Cup and wants to be the next Millie Bright, Lauren James, Chloe Kelly or Lucy Bronze, get in touch and come down and join a fantastic bunch of girls who will welcome newcomers with open arms and make them feel welcome. They're actually talking about East Surrey Girls Football Club. So under 15 girl players are wanted. They do training on Thursday evenings and they play Sunday mornings, and they're based in Reigate. So if you're interested in that, check out, in fact this item was posted Merstham Community Group. So check out the post which was put up by Stacey Spurdle. But I'm guessing that if you do a quick search for eastsurreygirlsfc.com, then you will find the details that you are after. Also, we've got this one from Merstham Cricket Club. Quick one from them. If you're having a Christmas decoration clear out, please let us know. We can use those decorations at our club. So yeah, maybe over the next few weeks you're starting to get things down from the loft or from the back of the garage or something like that, and you're thinking, oh yeah, we were going to throw these away last year, looking at them again. We could throw them away this year. Maybe we could upgrade. Maybe you've got some new. Maybe you were given Christmas decorations last year that you want to use this year for the very first time. Well, they would like to hear from you at Merstham Cricket Club so they can adorn their clubhouse. Got a couple of notices from Reigate and Banstead Council. First of all, this coming Friday, the 3rd of November, the phone lines are going to be down so they can upgrade the phone system over the weekend. And they should be open again as usual from 10 a.m. on Monday, the 6th of November. They tell me you can still report it and pay it on their website via their online services, and also their emergency numbers are going to be unaffected, but they thank you for your patience. So that means that the phone lines for Reigate and Banstead Council are going to be closing at 2 o'clock Friday the 3rd over the course of the weekend and open up again on 10 o'clock on Monday the 6th so they can upgrade their system. And they also say that from Monday the 30th of October, they're extending their reception opening times at the Town Hall. You'll now be able to access their services, get a help and assistance from 9 to 5 Monday to Thursday and 9 to 4:45 on the Friday. I wonder what it is on a Friday that they got to finish 15 minutes earlier. I don't know what's going on there, but there you go. The Friends of Earlswood, FOE, F-O-E, the Parent Teacher Association at the Federation of Earlswood School, say they want some help making games for their Christmas events. So these are the games that are needed. There's a whole list of these. So maybe you're handy with your hands, maybe you've got some wood, Maybe you've got a bit of spare time, or maybe you've got something in this list in the back of your garage or down in the shed which you think you may be able to put to good use to help the Friends of Earlswood Parent Teacher Association. You can get in touch with them. Hoopla Reindeer, the Reindeer Water Toss, Reindeer Golf. I'm loving these names apart from anything else. Snowball Throw, Snowman Pears, Snowman Tin Can Alley, Feed Father Christmas Buckets, Father Christmas Bowling, Hook a Bauble, Tree Pong, and Pick a Lolly Tree. I'm loving those anyway. And if you're interested in helping them out, then get in touch with the Friends of Earlswood Parent Teacher Association.
The Planet Reigate podcast. Great stories from Reigate.
Blind in Talent is a digital marketing agency and a music consultancy as well. And it started in June 2020. I've been in the industry since 1997. I started a company called The Box Music Television. It was a very big TV network in the UK in the 90s and bigger still in the noughties too. But yeah, so Blind Talent, yeah. And who would have known that we'd have in little world Reigate, that we'd have an international music marketing agency? But here we are.
Why aren't you in the bright lights of London town and so on? Why aren't you in San Francisco or wherever the latest music scene is?
The world's got a lot smaller and actually more accessible than ever before. But the reason why I'm actually in Reigate is actually fairly normal reason. I spent 20 years going up and down to central London from various parts of South London, which is where I was born and raised. I was born and raised in West Norwood. And as I got a little bit older, I started to have kids, and I started to move a little bit further out. And so I went from West Norwood to Crystal Palace to West Croydon. Then the Croydon riots happened, actually. At the time, my parents had moved to Dorking. But I used to drive through Reigate to go to Dorking. What a lovely little town this is. I never really thought any more than that. And then an opportunity came, 2012 or something like that, and I had a little look around. And Sandcross had really fantastic scores, and Reigate School had really good scores. Let's go here. We originally moved to Woodhatch, and I thought, this is a lovely area. This is beautiful. They've got trees here.
But you were still commuting to London, were you?
I was still commuting at this time, yeah. So, yeah, I didn't actually leave Channel 4 until 2018. I was actually going from Earlswood rather than Reigate, because I could go and park there. I've got parking restrictions now, of course, and that's why I ended up here. I just become very much part of the town, actually, and then I've got other things you probably don't know about me is that Reigate Women FC I actually founded, which is now the most successful female club in the area and has been for a long, long time. It's a lovely, safe town with lovely people, and you know, M25 there, 23 there.
And then you thought, presumably, hold on, why am I just still doing this commute when actually I can set up by myself and I can have the office near the home?
I then was afforded the opportunity to leave Channel 4 after 20 odd years of service. I then found myself loads of time in 2018 going, okay, what do I do now? And so I'd done a few label consultancy roles, and one was in South Asia, one was in Queens in America. That opened my eyes to remote working. I thought, hold on a minute, maybe I don't actually need to travel into central London to have a job. I think, what's actually important to me now? So in June 2020, I was in my spare room. I thought, right, okay, this is what we do. And I decided that marketing is always been my speciality.
But these, over on the wall to my right-hand side, we've got platinum discs for One Direction, we've got Nirvana, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, was it? I couldn't actually immediately see the name there, James Blunt, and a whole load more. How come you've got these? What part of your life were you getting these from?
I've been very, very lucky in my life. It's a very, very modest upbringing, but my one saviour was music video. It was my release, it was what I loved, and I loved every genre. I was one of those really annoying people, I was quite encyclopedic. I then thought, I'm never going to work in music. I was a young boy, I was 9, 10 years old, I was listening to everything from Bros to Dre to Snoop Dogg, right the way through to, ska and Madness, and then heavy metal like Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses.
So you were really soaking it up, all of those genres. It had to be music.
Music was everything. When I was between the age of 9, certainly 9 to 14, I was obsessed with all genres. It felt like I was kind of destined to go and become a builder like my dad. But then I kind of reached the age of 17 and I was just afforded an opportunity to work at a company called The Box. It was a summer job. I was 17. I was obsessed. And when I say obsessed with this channel, it was my entire life. Absolutely, yes, whatever you want. I was in college too, so I was like, I've got to finish my college and A-levels. And I had a child very young. Oddly, got a job in Redhill at the time to make ends meet. So as a dad, I was working for First National in Redhill, and at the weekend I was working at the box. I waited and waited and waited till the opportunity came up in the music team, went for it, got it. And that was the start of my journey. That was the start of everything in my music industry career. And I've been involved in all of these artists in one form or another. Ed Sheeran over there, we gave him his first TV performance. But so many of these record discs I've got here are really parts of my background and my story. From the early 2000s, like 50 Cent over there, and, Take That, and Beyonce, Jack Johnson. It's early 2000s is when I was kind of helping these artists at the very beginnings of their career. And in 2001 we launched Kerrang TV, which of course is still a very iconic TV channel, Kiss, Q, which of course was a magazine that went into a TV channel. And I just started supporting all these amazing artists, and I got the opportunities, like the absolute opportunities of a lifetime. I've had some really fantastic moments, and these are just a very small snapshot of what I've been involved in.
So blinding talent now is what, trying to find the next Taylor Swift?
I mean, that's the dream for any business, is to find the next Taylor Swift. But actually as a business, really, we're kind of built around two key pillars. So there's music marketing, and that's digital marketing primarily. So this isn't radio promotion, it's not TV plugging. This is Meta and Facebook and TikTok. So what we do is we take an artist that comes through and they want to start to build a fan base. And for us, that's what really matters. We'll think about the video concept, how are we going to appeal to that audience, well, who is the audience, and we'll go and market it to them. The artists create amazing music, we put it in front of the audiences, and then they decide if they like it.
But the audience has got to know about it in the first place.
Absolutely. We definitely fulfill the middle part. Now, the other part of the business is more about consultancy and management. So we actually manage and consult with artists. Now, we've been very, very lucky. We've had artists, actually an artist from quite locally, actually, Guildford, who then got signed on to Sumerian, which is part of Universal Records. She's called Alien Blaze. Another artist like Boy Bleach, who are now signed to Parlophone Records. Taylor Swift came through at a time where there weren't 900 different platforms to release music on. The opportunity to become a global megastar was far more reachable. Now it's, are you number one in any one of these 2,000 charts? And how many streams do you have? How many fans do you have? How much merch are you selling? Even in this little humble area of Reigate, we work internationally. So we've got artists in LA and Canada and New York, Australia, New Zealand, mainland Europe, Scandinavia. Most of our talent actually isn't in the UK.
Where are those bands going wrong then in promoting themselves? Or is it that they just don't have the time, the wherewithal, the expertise to do it, rather than doing anything wrong? They're just not doing it at all. They can't.
Audiences are so disparate now. So you could go and get a primetime TV show performance, and then the next day you're a huge megastar.
But you've got to now be on 20 different platforms.
Yeah, and then there's a scale problem there. So every artist is essentially a business, and their problem is scale. Their job is to be an artist and be creative. Our job is to go, well, look, you're a product. How are we going to get you on the shelves in your local area, let alone the shelves in international areas? The world has never been more open. The opportunity has never been so big for artists. Audiences are out there to be grabbed now. And where are they going wrong? Is they're not focusing on fans. They're focusing on quite loose, hollow vanity metrics that actually don't mean a great deal. Music's kind of like the least important part of this sometimes. When you go back, you can romanticize about how you truly felt about music back then, of course. But really, it was the only thing, right? There wasn't Xboxes and Netflix and Now and all of these things. You had a Sega Master System if you were lucky, and you didn't have a mobile device. So it was vinyl, it was cassettes, it was CDs, it was ghetto blasters, you had to spend time with the music. Now music's become so disposable. If there is one thing I'm disappointed about, is how disposable music's become. I want artists to be the geniuses that they are, and to give them the freedom to do that without the constraints of, oh, have we collected their email addresses, or have we collected a data point there, or how are we going to release merch, and how do we monetize that, and how do we monitor that? Good God, just focus on the music. Those artists that I was talking about there from the early, late 80s and 90s, they were all given time. They were all given so much time to think about their album and their creativity. They weren't thinking about, oh, quick, I've got to check TikTok or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever new platform comes out next week. They weren't thinking about that. They were only ever thinking about the music. And that's got to be a good thing. And increasingly what we're seeing is that artists are being thrown into almost like Swiss Army artists, where they've got to be a social media star and they've got to be a fantastic musician and songwriter and a producer and a mix engineer and a content creator and a podcaster and a vlogger. Oh, and they've got to be a journalist and they've got to write blogs too. Wow. We're doing our bit in our little corner of Reigate to help that internationally.
Planet Reigate speaking with Mark from the Blinding Talent Agency based on Bell Street in Reigate. Mark, thanks very much indeed for your time. Huge amount of time. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to fess up here. I spent so much time speaking to Mark at Blinding Talent that actually I left my car a little bit too long in Morrison's, and yeah, you can guess what happened after that. I got a letter in the post. On the way, we've got the 60-second soundscape, and also we've got our treasure, hidden treasure, from somewhere else, Bell Street in Reigate. It's the Children's Trust charity shop. Plus, I'm going to tell you about a special edition of the Planet Reigate podcast next week, where our guest is going to be talking just about one big local charity. Can you guess what it is? They've got a particular appeal ahead of Christmas. We're going to help them out with that. And I'll tell you more about our special programme next week before we finish this week on the Planet Reigate podcast.
Planet Reigate Stars. Thanking local heroes who are out of this world.
So our thanks to some of the local stars in Reigate and Redhill, and also Betchworth, Brockham, Buckland, Bletchingley and Merstham as well. Spotted these during the course of the week. I thought I'd pass them on. Angelica says, I just want to say a massive thank you to the guy who helped my niece when my little dog slipped her lead and ran away. You were amazing to help her. And even though Winnie outran you both, you never gave up. That sounds like a sight, doesn't it? This is the first time she ever ran away, but luckily somehow she knew her way back home without being hit on the main road. Thanks again. I really appreciate your kindness. So Angelica passing on her thanks to who helped chase after her dog. They were unsuccessful, but fortunately it was a happy ending anyway. Gemma says that she's collected a whole load of litter over the last few months. Warwick Road, Colesmead Road, Oxford Road, Furs Close, Gatton Park Road, Monson Road, London Road, including Memorial Park, and Timperley Gardens as well. She said, I didn't do it all by myself. I also had help from Ellie and Mark and Jennifer. And Gemma says her son as well. But she said, it's mainly been me. If you see me, please come up and say hello, and why don't you offer to help me as well? And if you want to be a volunteer litter picker, then you can email cleansing@reigate-banstead.gov.uk, and they'll give you some sacks and equipment as well, and also a litter picker. I'm guessing that's one of those kind of poles with the grab handle at the end, a high-vis tabard, and as I say, bags as well. So if you're interested in doing that round your neck of the woods, cleansing@reigate-banstead.gov.uk. Also, really indebted to a couple of listeners this week who've sent me some lovely messages. The Planet Reigate podcast, thank you so much. I just listened. I love your podcast. Can we have a chat? Says Camp Marshall X. Of course we can. Already been in touch with those guys there who have had some half-term events, so maybe we'll speak to them on the show when they're doing their next one. I'm guessing they may do something over Christmas or maybe in the half term which comes up at the start of 2024. And also James got in touch as well. So James is somebody that's been in touch and has actually bought me a coffee. We don't know each other. We've never met each other. However, he's bought me a coffee online to say thank you very much indeed for the Planet Reigate podcast, which I've really appreciated. So James, thanks very much indeed for getting in touch and donating just a few pounds to help the Planet Reigate podcast go on. And if you would like to do the same, the details are at the end of this message.
Email hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Find out more at theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Leave a text or voice message on WhatsApp 07917 874 572. 07917 874 572. Follow us on Facebook the Planet Reigate podcast. Find us, subscribe and leave a review on your favourite podcast app. Support us at buymeacoffee.com/the Planet Reigate podcast. Hidden Treasure.
This week at the Children's Trust, we have not just one, but two pieces of hidden treasure. We're featuring them together because they are both soapstone carvings. One is in the seated position known as the thinking man. It has a bowed head. It has very pronounced shoulders and spine down the back, something you can really get your sort of fingers and thumbs round to rub. It's such a tactile piece. Both elbows are leaning on the knees, and the right hand is atop the head, which is bowed. The left arm actually comes up and grips the right forearm. So it's a very thought-provoking piece, actually quite calming. Makes you wonder, what is thinking on any given day. Our other piece is sort of a loving embrace. It is plainer, I would say, very sort of right hand centered. It sort of scoops to the right, and it has a sort of arms outstretched but gripped, and it appears to have the sort of a head or a piece of a loved one. So it could be whatever you want it to be in terms of embracing a child, embracing a loved one, but very much looking at this, you see that the featured item is the centre of this person's world. So soapstone again, incredibly heavy, and both of these will retail for just £10 each. So saying you're getting two for less than the price of one. So come and find our hidden treasure along the right hand side of our shop window, and available when we open our shop doors on Saturday at 9 a.m. Any purchase at the Children's Trust supports children with brain injury, and these two have the added value of being gift aided. In other words, the donor signed up to our scheme, allowing us to make 25% extra on the sale of these items at no cost to the customer or to the donor. Thank you.
This is the Planet Reigate podcast.
Okay, Planeteers, thanks for the loan of your ears, and also thanks to Marie and Sarah from the Rewind Wind Band and Mark from the Blinding Talent Agency as well. Next week, back with a special programme where we're featuring one guest, but in two slots. We've got a Planet Reigate special next week where we're speaking with Nicola, who is the Chief Executive of Stripey Stalk, the Reigate-based baby bank. Yeah, we're going to be talking to Nicola all about what happens at their centre, where all of those items which you kindly donate go to, what happens to them, who they help, and what they need ahead of Christmas. And also asking her, why Stripey Stalk?
I came from a corporate background. I was a banker before I started this charity, and I think I really just wanted it to be something that would be fun and colourful and memorable, and didn't have any connection necessarily to the location in case we expanded. And Stalk was kind of an obvious choice because the Stalk bringeth and the connotation with babies, and Stripey just seemed like fun. And then the amazing designer that we worked with came up with the logo, and she chose the colours of orange and turquoise, and if I'm honest, at first I was a little unsure about that, but it just couldn't be anything else now.
So hear more from Nicola, the Chief Exec of Stripey Stalk, in a Planet Reigate podcast special next week on the programme. Please remember to tell your friends, or ask them, anyway, do it politely, to download and to listen to the Planet Reigate podcast. I was speaking to somebody earlier on this week who said, yeah, I was out running with a friend and they said, have you heard this new podcast for this area? It's called the Planet Reigate podcast. He said, yes, I know, they're coming to interview me in a couple of days' time, which was absolutely fantastic. That was Andrew down a Renewed Hope. So an interview with him and Hugh coming up in a few weeks' time on the podcast.
The 60-second soundscape. Local natural sounds, uninterrupted.
And as always, we're going to finish with our 60-second soundscape. This week, The natural sounds from Park Wood in Nutfield.